Hi everyone, I'm Angela from Angela Wolf Video, and this is Video Tech Tuesdays, where we talk about everything video, gear, tech, and specs. Today we are coming live from YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram. Today's topic is not very Instagram friendly in the sense that Instagram's going to be giving you, like that vertical kind of a look, and you're really going to want to be able to see like a landscape of the video. So if you're watching on Instagram, thank you. But to get like the full effect, you might want to go afterwards and just check out, this will be posted on YouTube and on Facebook. You can rewatch it. If you have any specific questions about the visuals, I'll be demonstrating today. So what are we demonstrating today? Today, we are talking about Microsoft Teams. It's something that is like, it's not new, but it's new. It's one of those things that people have been using Skype for Business for a while, but Microsoft bought Skype and is kind of decommissioning it over the next year and has been rolling out Microsoft Teams, been buffing it up and really making it a very powerful tool. So a lot of companies are starting to either switch everything over or encourage people to switch over from different things, either from Skype or from Zoom, just because Microsoft Teams has a lot of pros to it right now. So, like I mentioned, we are going live. So if you have any questions about what I'm talking about today, just post in the comments if I don't get to them, or if you're doing this as a rewatch, just do #replay so I know that I can, review your comments next week. So I am on Instagram and Facebook, and I am just trying to keep an eye on all of my feeds for a moment. And per usual, Facebook always likes to give me a little bit of a heart attack every week. I know you guys listen to me say that, but it never reloads that I'm streaming. So we're all good to go. I can see everyone's comments if people are commenting. And we are ready to talk about Microsoft Teams. So there are so many things to talk about when it comes to Teams. I've been playing around with it. I've been, taking little mini classes on it. I've been playing it with for my own work. And basically, if I wanted to tell you every feature they had, it would take us 3 hours. So for today, let's just focus on the video conference features, how to use it as a video call and a video conference, and how to really use it as a replacement for Zoom or Skype, which is what a lot of people are doing right now. And using it for right now. And plus, Video Tech Tuesday makes sense to be talking about the video aspect of Microsoft Teams. Now, I have the free version because don't tell anyone, but I'm kind of a Google person. I love my Google Docs. I love my Google Calendar. So I don't have Office 365. I don't have Outlook. However, one of the really big pluses to Teams and why so many companies are switching over is because the Office 365 plan and pretty much all the Microsoft 365 plans include Teams for free. So that's why a lot of companies are looking at this and being like, we already pay for this one project. Why do we want to also pay for another platform on top of that? So I know a lot of companies right now are switching because of that. But we're going to be looking through kind of I'll be using the free version, which works the same. It's just slightly limited. And so that way you can kind of play around with it if you only have the free version, or you can still know how to use it for video calls if your company has Office 365 and you have the premium version of it. So some things that comes with the free plan, which again are kind of really nice features that aren't necessarily available for the Zoom free plan. You can have up to 20 members in a video chat at once with no time limit. So that's great because Zoom really limits you to 45 minutes if you're on the free plan. You can have screen sharing, custom backgrounds, which if you've watched any of my videos, you know I kind of hate, but they're great for like fun happy hour kind of stuff. They do have the blur background, which I think looks a little bit more professional than like just like a tropical island you put behind yourself, but regardless, they do have custom backgrounds. You can schedule meetings. There's, chat messages. You can attach files. You can have the web versions of Word, Excel, PowerPoint. That's really similar to like Google Docs basically. And they have the data encryption to try and keep everything as safe as possible. So those are just kind of like some of the great features that come with the free plan. And now I think what's going to be the best thing to do, and why this is going to look really awkward when it comes to Instagram, if that's where you're watching us, I'm going to just show you how to kind of navigate through Teams to set up a video call. Boop. All right. So here we go. So this is my Teams app. First off, I highly recommend that you actually download the app for your computer. I'm obviously using the computer app right now. There is a phone app you can use as well. You can also use it just in your web browser, but it's really limited, especially because there's been like a lot more activity on on Microsoft right now. The web portal isn't working as well, and you're only going to be able to see one speaker at a time. And there's a few other features that are kind of dumbed down just to like kind of save on bandwidth. So I highly recommend downloading the program for your computer, and that's what I'm using right here. So first thing to just kind of like highlight is over here is your navigation bar. Now, again, I don't have Outlook and I don't have like their calendar program. Because of that, this just says meetings right here. Normally this is going to say calendar, and it's going to look like a full calendar, the same way that like Google Docs or the Outlook calendar looks like. The nice thing about this is, again, it will automatically sync with your Outlook calendar. So if you already have other, projects or meetings going on during the day, it will, put that and mark it off for you. Again, just not something I currently have. So if we go to meetings then, this is something that you can do your meetings now or schedule a meeting. And again, with the calendar, it kind of looks a little bit more intuitive than what you can see right now. It looks very much just like a calendar for you to do your meeting. You can name it, you can pick the time and the day that you want to schedule it out for, and then you hit schedule. And then you can either copy the meeting or share it via Google Calendar, which for me is wonderful because I use Google and I have this hooked up to my Google Calendar. Again, when you have it hooked up to your Outlook, it's a little bit easier because it automatically puts it on your Outlook for you, and you can invite people through Outlook as well. Another cool thing that I can't show you right now, I apologize, is if you go into Outlook to send an email, there's actually now a Teams button at the top of sending a new email, and you can click that to create a new team meeting and email it directly through Outlook instead of using the Teams app. Just kind of some fun things you can do with that if you have the whole suite. So we are going to start a new meeting right now. Up here is how you label it. And meeting with Angela Wolf sounds great. We're going to switch Angela Video instead of my full name. Right here, this first toggle is your video. You can have your video on or off. Off, it just shows your picture. On, it'll show what's going on your camera. We're going to do off for right now because my camera is set up to be shown through my streaming service. So if I were to turn that on, basically what happens is we're going to get that mirror effect and you're going to just be looking at what we're looking at and it kind of gets dizzying. So we're going to keep that off for right now. And that's only because I'm streaming currently. the next thing over here is the custom background. So you can have it off. You can do the blurred background. You can add in weird, fun, fake backgrounds. Again, like party balloons, like don't do that when you're on a client call, all right? Like that's for your happy hour, you know? There's some really fun ones that they offer. Again, either do blurred background if your background's not really pretty looking and you want to kind of hide it, or just don't worry about a background at all. Then this one right here, of course, is your microphone. So a lot of times what Teams does, which is really nice, is if you're joining a meeting that's already taking place and there's multiple participants, it will start with your microphone muted. All right, so with it muted, that's just really nice that you don't come in and then start like interrupting and everyone's looking at you when they're supposed to be looking at the presenter, the speaker. Just be aware though, when, you know, the little lines through it, that means you're muted. When it's bright and does not have a line through it, that means your microphone is on. So just be aware for whether you want to be talking or you don't want to be talking at that moment. Now, the last thing is custom setup. So this is where we can do kind of adjust, like, what are your speakers? What's your microphone? This is my nice microphone I'm talking into right now versus like my webcam microphone. You don't want to listen to that because that's garbage. Right now, my webcam is selected. If I were to switch it over real quick just to show you what I'm trying to talk about, turn this on, see how you kind of get like this, like, ooh, like infinity mirror look, because it's just streaming what you're seeing through my streaming service. So it's kind of confusing. So we're going to just turn that off for right now. Close that. Everything looks good to go. So I'm going to hit join now. Now I can add people. I can just copy the link. I can send it through an email. So I'm going to just try real quick and we're going to see if I can open this up on my cell phone to kind of show you what it looks like to have multiple people. So we ask people to join. I'm the speaker and I'm muted. Unmute your speaker. Unmute. Cool. So it's kind of nice that they like give you that little like heads up, by the way, like, oh, you know, you're muted. Again, it's this one right here. Toggle it off. Right now I'm muted, so your audio is off right now, or toggle it back on so that you're not muted. I'm just waiting for my invite on my other on my phone so that I can log on and kind of show you what it looks like to have multiple people in a meeting at once. That's why it says that I am just waiting. Here we are. Yeah. So we can view the lobby. Oh, look, I'm waiting here, and like that way. Same thing like Zoom offers this feature. It's basically so you can let people don't like barge into a meeting and start listening. Audio off. There we go. Perfect. Cool. So you can see right there that my other account, Angela Wolf, is muted because it has a little X right there. And then when I go and click on that person, that's who I can see right now. And then I go over to these little 3 dots. I can hit pin. So when I pin, that means I'm always going to see that person regardless of who's talking, and you're going to have more people fill in this bottom row, and you can actually pin multiple people, which is really nice. If like, I kind of hate the speaker view, honestly. I think if you're giving a presentation, it's great. Otherwise, when you're having a discussion, it gets really like headachy for me. So you can pin multiple people and keep them all up on the screen at once if you were like. You can also kick people out of the meeting if you're the admin, just in case, right? Just in case you have to do that. So you can manage your permissions. You can download an attendees list, which is really important if you're doing a conference or a webinar. I know that those like attendees lists are crucial. So we're all set up. We hit join. We've got our people here. So let's close that up. So first, kind of like looking at these things down here. Again, this is my camera. This is if I'm muted or unmuted. Now this one is the share tray, which is kind of like a weird term to me. But what it is basically every other option you're going to want to be doing on Teams. So if you click that, it opens this up down here. You can do PowerPoints. This is how you can share your screen. This is, some of the other, you can either do like your full screen, which is like what this would be, or you can do just certain windows. Like here are all my notes for what we're talking about right now. Open in my Google, that kind of stuff. So this is how you're going to want to share like a PowerPoint presentation, do your share screen, or also this is where you're going to access all of the cool apps that they have that you can integrate, including like Whiteboard. So let's say you wanted to do whiteboarding in the middle of a presentation or during a meeting, and this is how you're going to do it. You're going to just do the share tray, click on the whiteboard, and now here we are. We're like, woohoo, let's do some math for some weird reason. Right? You can do stickies. And then you can be like, oh, wait, I shouldn't have done that. Click it out. So this is like very basic whiteboard stuff. And that's just kind of how you do it. Now, whenever you're done with the share, whatever you're doing on the share tray, if you're like, all right, I did my weird presentation. I feel very self-conscious now. But you're done and you don't want to have to be a presenter anymore. Just kind of like move your mouse around and you click over here. This will pop up the stop presenting button. So we'll click that. And now we go back into the regular mode. Another thing we have is now we go into the more actions button. And this is where we can do some really fun stuff. First off, turn on live captions. That's something I think is super important. Zoom doesn't have it. Google Meet has it. And I think everyone needs to get this. And this is a great reason why to be using Teams or Google Meet. As you see in the bottom down here, it just writes out everything I'm saying. It works pretty well, actually. And this is perfect for accessibility for anyone who's hard of hearing. It's actually really great too if you have people who might be, English isn't their first language, but the presenter is speaking in English, because it's easier when you can read out the words. So this is a really wonderful feature. That's how you turn it on with the more actions button. You can also do background effects, full screen if you want to do that kind of stuff. But we're going to go here and do... How do we show our participants? Oh, over here. So we're going to go here, do our show participants, like the little people button. And that's how we get into this box on the side where we can see who everyone is. Again, that's how you can pin people, you can remove people, and you can admit people who are in the waiting room. So we have our more actions. Like I said, live captioning is the biggest one in there. Then we're going to do raise hand is the little hand button. This is like during a presentation, if it's, someone's talking, you have a question, you have something to say, hit the little raise hand button. And you see, this is why I wanted to do the show the participants, because it pops up right here next to your name. Is that your hand is raised until you unclick it. So that just makes things a little bit easier, because I know sometimes everyone's trying to talk at once and it's really difficult to kind of have a good flow when we're all virtual and there might be a slight lag. Here is the show conversations. It's just like the chat function that we have on Zoom and anything else. And you're like, hey, everyone. Maybe you have a question you can type in there if you're in like during a presentation instead of raising your hand. But that's easy peasy, hide and show it. Again, show participants, hide participants. And then, of course, we have the big red hang up button, and that's how we're going to end our call. So that is like the basics for doing a video call on Teams. Teams, like I said, has a lot of really cool features. Like they have the chat feature, which is basically texting or GChat. You can have it with one person, or you can have it with multiple people. You can rename the chat. You can actually make a video call or a phone call directly through the chat if you're like talking back and forth and you're like, oh, we got to just hop on a call to explain this. So that's really neat. They have, of course, the Teams part of Microsoft Teams, which is very similar to Slack, in my opinion. You create teams within Teams. You create channels, and then those channels are like, you have your team that's working on project A, and then you have channel 1, which is about, the pre-production of project A, and then channel 2 is the production part of project A. It's very much like Slack. You can do file sharing, which is very similar to Google Docs, where you can watch people, you can share a Word document, have multiple people working on it at the same time and seeing the edits in real time. Of course, there's also a ton of apps that you can add on here to like just kind of integrate with Microsoft Teams. So again, those are just some like extra fun stuff that comes with it. I didn't want to really have to dive into all of this today because we would be here forever. So let's come back. Here I am, everyone. Welcome back. That's kind of the gist of how to get started with Microsoft Teams and start using it the way that you might have been used to using Zoom or some other programs to do your video conference calls every day. And that's pretty much it. Like I said, it's a lot of companies are switching over now. I know Google Meet offered their free their like top tier version for free for X amount of months, and I think it was going to be up in September, and we're getting close to that update. Zoom and a lot of other ones, again, like any introductory prices are pretty much out the door at this point because they all started back in like March and April. So if you find yourself kind of like, I need a program, I don't want to be paying for another thing, Microsoft Teams might be really good for you. So other than that, I think we are done for today. As always, give me a call if you have any questions about doing a video project, how to integrate, Zoom or Microsoft Teams into doing live streams for, events that normally might have been in-person conferences, stuff like that. Like the use of these things are really limitless. So if you have a video project, give me a call at bit.ly/callawv. If you're on Instagram right now, go to my profile and check out my link tree for that link. Or if you're not at that stage yet in your life of being ready to like talk about a video project, but you might want to think about doing a video project in the future, go to bit.ly/AWV checklist. And that is going to be a free download for you that you can download. And it has just a checklist of everything you need to know to start a video project. It's like your pre-production information. Helps you figure out the content, helps you figure out the scale and exactly what you need and want out of your video. And so that's definitely the first place you want to go when you're thinking even possibly doing a video project. So check that out. Message me, send me a DM, or comment on these videos. Let me know what your questions are for video tech specs and gear, and we will be back next Tuesday at 1 o'clock to talk with everyone. All right, thanks.